Hey, let me turn this off. Get the music in here. Hello. Well, welcome everyone. It's a double hitter this week. I was on Monday night, and we're back again. It is Wednesday. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Welcome, Minnesota and Illinois. I'm using a different mic tonight, and so I'm going to make sure you can hear me. See if I have it set up right. Give me a thumbs up or a yes, and then I can know you can actually hear me. Anybody? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you, Kathy. Okay. Good. Welcome, Kristen. Yeah. Well, good to have all you here. There's just a few of you, but I didn't send out a big announcement that I was going to be on. So those of you who are paying attention are going to be here. But we are going to talk about some cool things tonight. And especially for those of you who are interested in health and wellness and longevity and living your longest, best, healthy life. Nobody wants to live a long life if they're going to be sick in a nursing home or something like that. So I'm all about natural, youthful vibrancy and longevity. And so tonight, I wanted to share the 4 secrets, the secret signs that you're going to live a long, healthy life. I don't know, when I asked that question, it reminded me of when I was probably about 7, 8, 9 years old. And the neighborhood, we would have these little carnival in the neighborhood. And it would be in one of the neighbors' backyards. And so each of us would have a little booth. And I was a Jehovah's Witness at the time. So doing this was actually kind of off limits, but I was the fortune teller. And so, everybody wants to know, am I going to live a long, healthy life? And am I going to get married? And, so it just kind of is something that's on everybody's mind, is being able to live a long, healthy life. So, how are all of you guys doing? Are we recovering from the summer solstice? A lot of intense energies. I had to take a lot of naps. I don't know about you guys, but that's an important part of taking care of yourself. So let's see. Number 1. So this is the number 1 sign. And so some of these are not necessarily secrets. Maybe they're reminders. And maybe it's just another way of thinking about it, or something that you hadn't quite thought of. And maybe it's a certain thing, but a certain aspect of it that I'm going to be talking about. So the number 1 sign that you're going to live a long, healthy life is that you've stopped believing the lie that we inherit our diseases. So if that's kind of new to you. You think, well, yeah, my grandparents, they both died of a heart attack, so that makes me more prone. Or my aunt, she had breast cancer, so that makes me more prone. And so, all the things your ancestors or family inherited, a lot of people believe, well, that's what happens. You just pass down these illnesses. Well, if you've ever listen to Bruce Lipton very much. He gives a lot of information about how really all the studies are now showing, scientific studies, that we are the product of our environment. So that's epigenetics. Epi meaning what's around, around your genetics, what is around in your environment. This is what actually causes diseases and illness. So paying attention to what's around us, the kind of people we hang out with, what's our environment like, the air we're breathing, the water we're drinking, the food we're eating. And I did say people, but people can be especially toxic to our life. So epigenetics, that is the number one thing, is that we stop believing this lie that we inherit everything. Number two is the number two reason, or the number two sign that you will live a long, healthy life, is you have exited the pharmaceutical matrix. So it's really uncommon now to find people that don't take any drugs. I happen to be one of those. I'm not, something I never have. I've lived a long enough life that at some point you have to take some medication, but it's usually something for like an infection, or maybe I did have a surgery at one point. So that's the reason you have to take a medication, pain medication or antibiotics, etc., to prevent infection. But for the most part, it seems like everyone is on some kind of medication. So if you're still feeding the pharmaceutical matrix, you might want to exit that, find a way to exit, get off all those unnecessary things that they're not solutions, they are band-aids. And so it's really more important to find out what's the real cause of your illness or disease or whatever. You can always find a reason in your energy field as to why you are unwell. So in a high frequency, there is no disease. There are no viruses. Those things cannot thrive in a high frequency. And so when you can measure and calibrate every body system, every body organ, and bring those up to, now it's 450 millivolts of light, you're going to be much healthier, much longer. And what you're doing, the more light you have in your cells, in your cellular body, the more light you have, that means the more information you have, all your cells have, so that they can know how to function with each other. And your whole body, parts work sort of independently, but they're also all interdependent and connected. So when your body has enough cellular light, it has enough information to know how to function properly. So that's number two. Number three is, I know you've probably all heard that you should exercise regularly. Everybody knows that. But really, it's more important to actually create muscle mass, and especially two places. Your thighs, because your thighs actually represent, it's like a power center. And then you drive all that powerful energy with your solar plexus. So your thighs really need to be strong. Now, we're not talking like, like, and then lost for words, like Mr. Muscle America, not like that necessarily. But you do want to have strong legs. You might notice that as people get older, their legs get very skinny, and they lose their muscle tone, and then they can't even stand up from a chair. So that's really important. Is muscle mass is one of the big indicators that you are going to live a long life. So get your guns. And I try to work out every day for between 20 and 45 minutes. And if I skip a day, then it's, not so bad. But and I try to do a different exercise every day. That came from working out at Orange Theory Fitness. You can work there probably 365 days a year, work out there, and no two exercise is the same. And so they rotate a little cardio on a treadmill with weights, using your own body mass as resistance. There's a million ways you can mix things up to do something different every day. And if you're only doing it for 20 minutes, you're going to look forward to it instead of like, oh, I'm so wiped out from yesterday. So, and then I'll even, I have a very long hallway where I live here. I'll do lunges down the hall. So there's no excuse for keeping strong muscles. And another part of the strong muscles, I did a little video on this a while ago, but your grip, your hand grip, that's also a strong indicator you're going to live a long life because you have good muscle mass and good grip. It's kind of like a core indicator of what's going on here when you have a really strong grip. All right, the fourth sign that you're going to live a long, healthy life is that you know how to stack supplements. So because our nutrition, our food has become so depleted, the soils have become depleted, and so much of the food in our grocery stores now is just dead, even the produce aisle. Even if you shop the perimeter where the produce aisle is, a lot of those foods are still dead. Now, I will go to the farmer's market every week now. This is not a new thing, but a thing I've recommitted to doing every week because of being so disappointed at the grocery stores, because I calibrate everything, right? And so when you calibrate the foods and you see that even organic strawberries vibrate at 250, it's like, what have they done to these poor foods, So I now will get how much better luck calibrating foods at the farmer's market. And even so, you might notice that just because something's organic, it may not be good for you. So I was tempted by these fresh corn on the cob, which I love. I love corn on the cob. It's just picked that morning and it's so yum. So I did a couple of weeks of that. And then I noticed, oh, wow, my body doesn't particularly like this. It has a low frequency now. So I did a little bit of corn for a couple of weeks, and then it's like, no, my body doesn't want this. So potentially this was, a GMO corn, genetically modified. And so you have to be careful about so many things now with our food and calibrating. So because our food is so depleted, we need to supplement. And taking a one a day is not the answer because we are not cookie cutters. And so just taking like a one a day vitamin that's got all this stuff in it, well, maybe you don't need half the stuff in there. And so when you can really pay attention to your body, it's going to tell you what you need. So recently, I've had this dry, scaly thing happening on my eyelids, and was using different oils, and I finally found some calendula oil at the farmer's market that was helpful, but didn't quite eliminate it. And so my body just kept thinking about vitamin A. So it was kind of in the back of my mind. So I finally went to let's see, I'm not sure where I got it. Oh, maybe it was at someplace like Sprouts or Jimbo's. Those are really healthier grocery stores, and calibrated the vitamin A's. And it was interesting that the shelf of vitamin A was like only half a shelf. And then there were 4 shelves of vitamin D, which was kind of interesting. So I wanted to make sure I took them both together. It's just my body was telling me, check this out. So I did. 4 days later, it's nearly gone now. So, and I've been trying to deal with this for a few weeks, it seemed like. And as well as working the inflammation from the cords, AI cords, creating a lot of anger and fury. And so that's usually what any inflammation is about. There's some anger that's not yours in your field. So those are the four things I wanted to talk about. So when you're stacking, when I say stacking your supplements, is that you're paying attention to your body so you know which ones to take, and you also are calibrating. So you can muscle test which ones to take. Also, muscle testing or calibrating how many you should take, how often. So it can be a little tricky, but it's really the most important way to do this. All right. Well, I'm curious what kind of questions you have about health and longevity would be great. It's kind of the topic tonight, but really about anything. Let me see who we have here today. And well, thank you, Kimmy. We have a Kimmy and Kimmy. Let's see, Minnesota and Illinois, and just learned that. So yeah, I'm not sure what I ended 7 meds after 35 years. Well, congratulations, Kimmy. I asked for help with the Arcturians to help me end all meds, 4 different opiates. Yeah, that's a lot of a kind of a numbing out. And so I would think that might be like your new challenge. Once you come off of that is, all the things you were kind of hiding from start to come to the surface. And so that might be your new challenge. So grateful. I've never felt better. I even went back to work. Well, that's a great relief, right? You're so welcome. Thank you. I hit the like, subscribe, and share for all those asleep. Thank you, Kimmy. And thank you for the reminder. Yes, please do like, share, and subscribe to this. Not enough people following this channel, I think. And, especially after having been on TikTok and finally getting kicked off, was making quite the rave there with all the energy readings I was doing. And I had over 50,000 followers. And so it's been challenged to find a new platform, and kind of feels like kind of starting over again. So yes, please like and share. It's so much appreciated. What is good anymore for food? It's true. Well, I'll give you an idea of there's not very many things. It's actually quite simple. I used to eat fish. I don't eat anymore because it's prone to parasites, which I don't like having to deal with. So when I was eating fish, it was wild caught salmon. I love salmon, and the wild caught is definitely a better option there, but could still have parasites. So stopped eating fish. I will get a highly calibrated, or as high as possible, sometimes not always possible, chicken, roasted chicken at a better market like Sprouts or Jimbo's. Then I would also do grass-fed. I used to do grass-fed like a filet mignon or ribeye. But I've noticed that even the grass-fed beef at grocery stores has a low vibe. So maybe it has to do with how they're slaughtered however, I have had good luck with grass-fed lamb, and that has a high frequency at infinity, at least where I've been getting it at Sprouts. So you might check that out. If you have a reliable butcher that raises local cattle, then that might be a good option. Calibrate. If you know where it's coming from, it's a whole different game. Um, Not very many dairy anymore. I'll buy raw cheese, raw grass-fed cheese. Do that, and very few vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli from the farmer's market now. And I wasn't eating any fruit for a while, but I found these really good tangerines, uh, super, super sweet at the farmer's market. I will get some organic bananas that are, and I try to eat them on the green side. Um, Avocados, yeah, not a whole lot besides that. I've stopped eating like nuts and seeds and um, very few carbs. So that's kind of it right now. All right. What else have we got here? Um, yes. Hello, Atlanta. What do you recommend when? What do you recommend when your hormones are not balanced in or they're depleted? Bioidentical hormones. Any thoughts? I have never taken any of those hormonal supplements. What I do, and as I work with clients, is I will calibrate a lot of the hormonal things. Well, especially for women, and so their uterus and the ovaries, are they functioning properly? And then you can also calibrate the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So I'm not measuring how much you have of that in your body. It's what percentage of normal for you are those hormones at. And if they are low, then we raise the frequency. There's usually a reason. AI infiltration, usually at the root chakra, they implant these programs that will diminish your ability to have healthy levels of your hormones. And then some of the other parts that play a role in hormones, your pituitary gland, and then your whole endocrine system, your adrenals, your amygdala. There's a bunch of things that can be checked, but even bioidentical, uh, there's no way to really mimic completely um, the human body. I mean, they say it's bioidentical, but I don't believe that they get all of it, you know. So anyway, there's a lot of risks with that. And so then when you start supplementing with these hormones, then you're also it's not like you're giving your body a boost so that, oh, now it'll start. Actually, your body will continue to produce less and less because these other things are happening. Um, so that's kind of the dangers about that. That's my thoughts about hormones. All right, Belinda, I've been dealing with the same eyelid situation. Yes, currently caring for two parents with brain issues. So lots of confusion and anger come up with them. So adjusting to their world. Yes. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done for the brain. I have a little brain picture. It's a picture of the brain that has all the different parts of the brain that are um, identified. And each of those parts of the brain can be calibrated along with other parts in the brain, like your amygdala, your pituitary gland, your pineal gland. Um, all of those parts can be calibrated, brought to 100%, and the 450 millivolts. When I first did that, I it was crazy how low it was, and so I still kind of struggle with memory stuff, you know. But I've noticed that, so if any of you know about iridology, that this part of your iris, so if you've got your whole iris, this part of your iris, that much of it is your brain, the top part of your iris. And so, according to iridology, I noticed this in my 20s that there was what's called an arcus senilis. It's a kind of a cloudy band that would go through the brain. And then also, it would look like the white of the eye is kind of pulled over the top of the iris of the eye. And so I always wondered, like, I wonder, first of all, if I could change it. So that was back in my 20s. Never quite was able to change that part of my iris. Um, but I always wondered what that would mean as I get older, like, because that's the part of your brain. Well, I think my brain still functions pretty darn well, but the memory aspect is always still been a little bit of an issue. So it's something I'm always working on. But speaking of the brain, I have been working with this autistic boy, and the results have become phenomenal. And he is, pretty low functioning, not able to communicate or talk, but he used to have just always angry and screaming and would bite his mother. And it was just really debilitating and hard to deal with. And so after it's been a couple weeks now, and he has made drastic changes. Is happy now and doesn't scream like he used to, and like his whole body is starting to come online now, and things are starting to regulate. So it's been actually quite uh, fun and encouraging to watch and see this little boy sort of smooth out, his whole life sort of smooth out. So there are a lot of brain issues, especially for elderly people too, if they're willing to do things that can regulate the brain so that it can start functioning better. Yeah, so you probably got your hands full, especially if you're working on both parents. All right, Susie, I appreciate your thoughts as I'm struggling on how to fix it. Yes, yeah. Yeah, especially if you're having like hot flashes and so forth. I remember before I knew about all of this, um, this was back when I still had my menses, so I still had my cycle. That with the hot flashes, that can be pretty crazy. But I would take these Chinese herbs. I can't even tell you what it is now. It was these little black pellets. You did have to take a dozen of them at a time, and that really helped. So you might look into some Chinese herbs as well for some help with some of the immediate symptoms. And you also might want to look into getting a human technology assessment. I measure more than 110 calibrations of your physiology, not only the percentage that it's functioning, but also how many millivolts of light that organ is holding. And so then you can see what's off, and then over and above all the body systems and organs, there's a bunch of emotions that I would check, and checking to see if AI is courting, if there's control beings, if there's dead people in your space. I mean, there's just a lot of things. Anyway, it's pretty fascinating. And so that might be something that you'd want to check into, because I also check the hormones, the hormone levels in that, as well as all of your body systems and body organs. All right. Any other questions for tonight? We have a smaller crowd tonight. I didn't make a big announcement that I would be here. So we are going light tonight. How do you stop fears? Well, usually the fears are not yours. So you unplug yourself from the energies that are plugging into you that are creating the fears. In your case, Susan, yeah, your fears are quite high. To calibrate that, that would be like 100%. There's not only fear, there's also terror, which is at 50%. And these are mostly from, in your case, because we don't have a bunch of people here, that I'll go ahead and look at this. If you asked, in your crown chakra, there is some AI interference. So when I say AI, I mean ancient interference, not artificial intelligence. Ancient interference are the dark energies on the planet, and they are now using energy cords. They actually may have always been using these, but now we're noticing it. Now we're seeing where they're plugged into our energy field and pumping these angry, fearful, terrified energies into our space. So at your crown, you have curses, 100, and these AI cords, also 100. That's a lot. That's a lot. Those can be easily removed. So that's just at your crown. There's also at your sixth chakra. So that's what's going to create the thoughts that make you afraid, the thoughts that you think, like, what about this? And what if this happens? And what about the future? And afraid of World War, whatever. Those are not your thoughts. Those are their thoughts. And they're designed to keep you afraid because these are the energies that they feed on. So, and then at your root chakra, there's also a bunch more stuff going on. Spells and curses and cords. So a lot going on. The spells kind of keep you kind of in a loop. I'll give you an example of a spell that happens for people that do a lot of scrolling on the internet. That's a spell. It kind of keeps you in the energy of FOMO, fear of missing out. And so that spell comes over you, and it's like you can't put your phone down. You're there for hours, just like, that because you're under a spell, and not just one spell. In your case, there's about 50. And then the curses are usually designed to make you afraid or angry. And those are the two most common kind of curses. And then the cords, another 100 cords at your root chakra. So with all of that intense energy, you are, I was going to say, likely not grounded. So yeah, you have no grounding cord. So there's nowhere for the energies to go. So it feels intense, feels uncomfortable. So then the only way that you know of to cope with that is to kind of exit your body. You're not fully occupying your body because it's like, it's way uncomfortable to have and feel these fears and the anger and the fury. And so you exit your body and then you feel fine. But the energies are still there. It's kind of like, you only occupy the back office of your entire house because there's robbers and there's drug addicts and there's people having a party and all these other people are occupying your house. So you just stay in the office in the back where it feels peaceful and quiet while everybody else is running amok. And so, so it's not comfortable to be in your body. You're only occupying your body like 2%. And so what happens when you're not in your body all the way is, one, you can't tell how fearful you are or angry. And so those energies run amok in your body, and then they start creating inflammation. Then your body starts not functioning properly because of all these energies that are just going on and on. So it becomes, kind of a vicious cycle. But so here's my suggestion for you. Yes, scrolling can be a spell for sure. Hey, Sandy, aloha. I'll get to your question in a minute, Kimberly. Here's my suggestion for you, Michelle, is to join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Once a month, I do a luminary activation, which is a very thorough clearing of your energy field. And especially if you're new, this is a perfect way to kind of experience what I do and to start feeling some relief, start experiencing what it feels like to be fully grounded, occupying your body all the way. The theme this month is all about our powerful presence. How do we embody our power? And we're not talking about muscle power or masculine power. We're talking about a balance of this masculine and feminine energies that really makes us feel present, confident. Um, yeah, just in our medicine, in our alchemy, in our gifts, and so that's what we're doing tomorrow. Is we're going to help you get back in your body, eliminating all of these things that are interfering. It's done as a group, but it's very, very powerful if you've never done it before. So I encourage you to join us for that. You can find it on my website, which is listed here at the bottom of the screen. And if you just scroll down on the left-hand side, you'll see a tab for the luminary activation. So we do that once a month. Every month is a different theme, and yeah, it's no fun to live like that. Um, yeah, it's really hard on your nervous system too. So join us. All right, Kimberly. Any advice on how to release trapped emotions to lose weight? Um, yeah, so this is would require like to calibrate what actually is in the way, what emotions are trapped. In your case, you also do have a lot of fear, um, and you know that this when we hold, there's two different ways, but I see it kind of as the same side of the coin. The two most common places where people hold weight is the most common places at your belly, which, if you think about it, that's right over and around your solar plexus, which is, in my opinion, um, it is untapped power. And so it's not being lazy. It is, there's just a level of our power we haven't tapped into. So that's one thing. In your case, there's also a lot of anger, a lot of anger. I didn't complete that thought. Let me come back to the anger. The second place where people hold a lot of excess weight is on their thighs, which is also another power center. So in both cases, it relates to not fully being in your power. The one at the hips can also relate to carrying family baggage, those saddlebags. They hold a lot of family baggage. But as far as the angry energy, not your energy. It's not your anger. So the this AI energy, they are very keen on keeping plenty of angry energy in the populace because this is what they feed on, which is why they are always stirring the pot. So eliminate the news. Stop watching all this. Like, I don't even know. I'll hear a tidbit about this, a tidbit about that. Like, oh, World War III and oh, the Diddy case. And but for the most part, it's designed to make you angry. Like it's really and terrifying to think about world wars and so forth. That's the whole point. It's designed to keep you focused out here, worrying about everything, angry about outcomes and injustice, etc., etc., so that we don't have any time or energy or interest in going inward to find out what's going on in here. So this this angry energy for you, which is not yours, it's this AI. Um, a lot of it is at your crown. Uh, there's about 50 cords there at your crown chakra. And so anything at the crown kind of like owns you. That's like the ultimate puppet, got you by the puppet strings. Because our crown is where we hold our sovereignty. And if somebody else is controlling our crown, then we're no longer sovereign. So at your crown and root chakra, those are the two big places. So it's like you're in a pressure cooker. It's got the controlling your crown, and then the root chakra. Then it doesn't feel safe. There's about 100 of those AI cords there. And so they've really stepped this cord game up. It's just because it's effective. And they infiltrate into our energy field, and it's a very effective way to control us. All right, let's see what else do we have. Do you ever do it at night or weekends? And so do what? Are you talking about the luminary activation? It is the same time every month, just for consistency. There's a recording. It is 95% as effective as being there live. So when you come live, you bring your energetic signature, and then it can be included. But usually there's enough people on the call that usually it has a big enough slice of life that a lot of the same things you're working on will be represented in all the people that show up. So, 50 chords, lots to work on. Yes, indeed. Or you could just join us tomorrow and be done with it. And all the other things we're going to clear. Tony, let's see. Do you have any cords? I'm getting a yes in your root chakra, but only 5. See, Tony's been doing some work with some of my programs, and so he has been keeping an eye on things. And so good job, Tony. You're getting ahead of the game. You have to work on Thursdays. Well, it's always worth signing up and listening to the recording, so that a lot of you guys just keep struggling along, and but when it could just all be taken care of. So it's up to you. Beatrice, do you have curses? Yes. And 6th chakra, only 5. But they're designed to keep you in fear. It's a fear of failure. And also in your root chakra, there's another 5 there. Yeah. All right. Any other questions we got going on? And for some of you, the other thing that's actually going on tomorrow, you're welcome, Beatrice, is the luminary activation is actually the first day of our 12-day program. So every other month, we do 12 days of practicing this process of running your energy. It's a very specific way of moving energy through your energy field. So we'll do that every day except weekends to practice this process of running your energy. But what you notice is that the more you practice it, the faster we can go through the process, which means there's more time to go deeper to clear other things. And so these 12 days is all about stepping into our powerful presence so that we can have more confidence and we can tap into our deepest passion. Instead of being pushed by all this angry energy, we can be pulled and inspired by our passion, letting go of all these masks, these egoic masks that are not us. It's not our power. And so we do that every day for 12 days. And so that might be something else. Some of you are are interested in, because we only do it every other month. And tomorrow, the luminary activation is the first day, kind of launches the whole program because it's just a really thorough clearing. And then we can spend another 12 days going deeper and deeper and deeper. It's really quite a profound experience to see how far you can go, how deep you can go, and how much progress you can make for things you may have been struggling with for years. Yeah, let's just do it. All right, Sandy, I've been hanging out at the hospital. Are there anything clinging to me, like dead people? Yes. Let's see, Sandy. I'm getting a yes. Yes, you've picked up a few dead people in your root chakra, about 10 of them, and they are afraid. They have fear, so maybe they're still. Oftentimes, what happens when people die is they don't realize they're dead, and so they can even still have a fear of dying, which is kind of crazy, but true. So there you go, Sandy. I'm glad you caught alive too, Kimberly. Well, you're welcome. Yes, you can listen to the Luminary recording. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we've put it on a new platform because a lot of people are having trouble listening to it on the Kajabi platform. So we've put it on Hello Audio so that you can listen to it easily on your phone, anytime, anywhere. And so that makes it a lot nicer too. A lot of people are struggling with the whole Kajabi thing. Good, Sandy. Anything else, my dear friends, that I can be of service to all of you? No. All right. Well, we could call it a day, and I will be showing up again next week. I'm not sure which date, but I think it will be good to start giving some. Are any of you into horses? Because I have a horse now, and I've been learning some interesting lessons. Interesting lessons from horses. That might be some good things. Yes, so the 12 days is at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Pacific time every morning. So yeah, if you've never done it before, you should do the foundational program. And so we meet 8 a.m. every morning. The very first day is going to be a little bit longer because we have an opening circle, and it takes a little longer. But after that, yeah, it's just 20 minutes every day at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You're a horsey girl. Boy, that's great, Belinda. What kind of horsey do you have? I have it's a gypsy vanner. He's adorable. He's only 14 months old, and so yeah, I won't be able to ride him for maybe a year, but we're learning a lot together. And horses are fascinating. They're healing. They teach you a lot about yourself. So I think it's kind of interesting that a lot of these energies around power that are showing up for me also they kind of dovetail with all of this horse work. So it's pretty fascinating. You don't have one now, but maybe you grew up with one. Spiritually, that is. You're a spiritually horsey girl. Is that right? Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, well, good. I think there are some horsey people out there, and maybe they have horses, or they used to have horses, or they love horses, and they certainly appreciate the medicine that comes from horses, horse medicine. All right, my friends. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow on tomorrow's luminary activation, and otherwise, have a great weekend. And we'll see the rest of you on Monday for the first day of our 12-day program. All right. Have a blessed evening, and we'll see you when we see you. All right. Sending much love. Namaste.